Welcome everyone. Welcome to worship with Eliot Unitarian Chapel on this day, early in the new year. We're so glad that you have joined us. Because of the surge in the coronavirus, we have moved online for the moment, and we'll be meeting live on Zoom for a few weeks at least. But whether you're joining us from your couch, your porch, your car, your kitchen, doing the dishes, however this service reaches you, we hope it nourishes your spirit and strengthens your values by being with people who share them. I am Barbara Gaydon, and I'm honored to serve Eliot Chapel as your lead minister. If you're new to us, we are an intentional community whose shared work is to welcome all races, genders, and all sexual orientations. We strive to welcome people of all creeds and beliefs, all economic circumstances, and all types of families. Our vision is to create a just world through vibrant, beloved community. If you would like to connect with us and learn more about our congregation, please write to us at welcome@eliotchapel.org. welcome@eliotchapel.org. So glad you're here. We live immersed in eternity, embraced by beauty, surrounded by the sure presence of love. Every day is a chance to lift our eyes to the infinite sky, to open our ears to the wind's music, to touch the warm silk of our skin, taste the cool waters of earth, and feel the rush of our blood as it circles within us. What a wonder life is. What a wonder we are. I'm going to light our chalice. We light this chalice for the gift of being human, being earthly, and awake to awe. Come, let us worship. I invite you now into a time of prayer and meditation. If you wish to, you may plant your feet flat on the floor, straighten your spine, close your eyes, and follow your breath. And hear these words by the Reverend Amanda Poppy. My friends, we have arrived. We are here in this new year. We've crossed the boundary of time from the bittersweet last year to this year, which will also be bittersweet. Let us pause for just this moment before we move boldly onward. Let us pause to hear the breathing in the room in which we find ourselves, even if it is only our own good breath. It is presence and it is life. Let us pause to consider the trees, their branches stripped bare, their elegant architecture on display. Let us pause to feel the spirit of life and love that ties us all to all living creatures, that winds its way through our very bones and settles in our hearts. Before we move forward with tremendous hope for the coming year and the healing of the world, let us notice what it is that remains every year, every day. What exists beyond world events, beyond time. It welcomes us to life, not just at the start of the year, but every day. And let us answer, Amen. Our first reading this morning is called A Review of Old Langstein. And it's by John Green. He's a well-known novelist, young adult novelist, fiction writer. And this is from his podcast, Anthropocene Reviewed. I find it fascinating that in a world where so much is new, we welcome New Year's by singing a very old song. The chorus starts out, "For old Langstein, my dear, for old Langstein, I'll take a cup of kindness yet, for Old Langstein. Old Langstein is complicated to translate. It literally means something like old long since, but it's idiomatically similar to the old times. We have a phrase in English somewhat similar to for Old Langstein. The phrase is for old time's sake. We don't really know when Old Langstein was written. The first verse goes, should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind, should old acquaintance be forgot in days of Old Langstein. Versions of this date back at least 400 years, but we owe the current song to the great Scottish poet Robbie Burns, or if you like, Robbie Burns. In December of 1788, he wrote down the words to an old Scottish poem, Old Langstein, in a letter to a friend. And at least 3 of the verses were probably his own, although he would later say of the song that he took it down from an old man. Part of what makes dating various lines within the song difficult is the song's eternality. It is about drinking together and remembering old times. And almost every idea within it, from picking daisies to wandering through fields to toasting old friends over a beer, could have been written 500, 1,000, or even 3,000 years ago. It's also a rousing ode to splitting the check, incidentally, with part of the second verse going, and surely you'll buy your pint cup and surely I'll buy mine. But mostly the song is just an unapologetic celebration of the good old days and of looking back upon them. Within decades, it became a popular part of New Year's celebrations in Scotland, a holiday known as Hogmanay that can trace its history back to winter solstice rituals. By 1818, Beethoven had written an arrangement of it, and it was beginning to travel throughout Europe and the English-speaking world. Today, Old Langstein is often played at Japanese department stores just before they close. I think Old Langstein is popular because it is one of the rare songs that is genuinely wistful. It acknowledges human longing without romanticizing it, and it captures how each new year is a product of all the old ones. So ends our reading. In January, we will be sharing our Sunday collections with the Meacham Park Neighborhood Improvement Association, or MPNIA. Meacham Park is a predominantly African-American community in Kirkwood. Even before Meacham Park was annexed to Kirkwood, an intentionally diverse group of Meacham Park and Kirkwood residents formed to advocate for Meacham Park. And Eliot Chapel has long ensured that we have one of our members at the table so that we are always ready to lend a hand and be part of this shared community. To donate to the Meacham Park Neighborhood Improvement Association, and we'll split it with half of it with Eliot Chapel, please go to our website, eliotchapel.org, and look under Giving. There you will find instructions for giving online, by text or by check. So this week we come together to share a ritual called Coffin and Cradle, which was created many years ago by the Reverend Barbara Child. The ritual gives us a way to introduce spiritual depth to the celebration of the new year, especially when we have been eager to see the old year in the rearview mirror. The Coffin and Cradle are appropriate to the new year in that it's an opportunity to begin anew, the true invitation of the turning of the year. We need to know that the new year will come. We need to know that the Coffin and Cradle will appear and invite us, coax us, even compel us to do some of the ongoing work that needs doing in order for us to maintain our sense of spiritual health and wholeness. Our rituals emerge out of our needs, like the need to let go of old hurts and resentments that have become burdens that weigh us down, to let go of guilt and regret for things that we did or said, or things that went unsaid or undone, to make peace or to take one more step toward peace with our grief and our loss. There is no magic to this. It is all a part of the process. If we are in need of forgiveness, we still need to ask for it and to make amends. But once that is done, we also need a way to acknowledge that the work has been done and that lingering regret is not healthy. If we have been hurt by somebody else, we do not pretend that in an instant it is okay. We still need to work through the pain, protect ourselves from further damage, and establish boundaries of safety. But once that is done, we need a way to acknowledge that the work has been done and that lingering resentment is also not healthy. The fourth verse of Old Langstein goes something like this. We too have paddled in the stream from morning sun till dine, but seas between us broad have roared since Old Langstein. John Green writes, I think about the many broad seas that have roared between me and the past, seas of neglect, seas of time, seas of death. I will never speak again to many of the people who loved me into this moment, just as you will never speak to many of the people who loved you into your now. And so we raise a glass to them and hope that perhaps somewhere they are raising a glass to us. So for this ritual today, you're going to need a pen and paper. If you don't see one handy, don't worry about it. You can take us with you, whatever device you have, or you can raise the volume or something. But it would be helpful for you to have a pen and paper. As we seek together to cross, each in our own way, the river of loss, whose other side is salvation, let us support each other as we become present to this symbol of loss, the coffin. And I made a little miniature coffin for us, just to symbolize that and have something visual. Let's put it over here for the moment. There have been so many losses this year around the world and in our own lives, some of us. The coffin is also a symbol of respect for the dead. Once again, our losses this year from the plague are shared with neighbor and fellow citizen and fellow inhabitant of the world. Again, this year, many of us could not be with family members to view a coffin or an urn being lowered into the ground or its ashes dispersed. Let us take a moment now just to honor this loss. In our ritual today, let the coffin be present to us, and let us be present to whatever we might bury in it. Remember that this is a chance to let go of the past, to dismantle sorrow, while keeping the best of what was. This is a chance to cast off old skins, to move out of a place where you have been stuck, to shed a dream that was not destined to come true, to drop a parcel that has been too heavy to keep carrying, to break a tie that binds too tightly, to acknowledge an ending that has already happened. It is an opportunity to let go. Letting go is not always easy. In fact, it is often quite painful, but the long-term fruit is lighter, a lighter, healthier way of being in the world. Many of us are tempted to include the whole thing, all of 2021 in this burial. So much loss, suffering, and worry. But you will notice that the coffin is kind of small. It won't fit a whole year. There are precious things that we want to carry with us. I want to invite you now to spend a few minutes contemplating what you wish to let go of and put it in your coffin, whether it's a real box or something imagined. We'll just spend a moment or two in silence, while you think about it. Amen. Now, what should you do with what you have written? If you have, you can burn it. I recommend, if you're going to do that, I recommend going outside to do that and using something like a cast iron pan or skillet. You could bury it if you have a place. You can rip it up or shred it. I kind of like the shredder because of the sound that it makes. Or you might just find a pebble somewhere and let it drop to the ground. Anything you need to let go of. Our second reading today is the brand new poem by Amanda Gorman called New Day Lyric. And we've got her on video reciting it.
May this be the day we come together. Mourning we come to mend, withered we come to weather, torn we come to tend, battered we come to better. Tethered by this year of yearning, we are learning that though we weren't ready for this, we have been readied by it. We steadily vow that no matter how we are weighed down, we must always pave a way forward. This hope is our door, our portal. Even if we never get back to normal, someday we can venture beyond it, to leave the known and take the first steps. So let us not return to what was normal, but reach toward what is next. What was cursed, we will cure. What was plagued, we will prove pure. Where we tend to argue, we will try to agree. Those fortunes we forswore, now the future we foresee. Where we weren't aware, we're now awake. Those moments we missed are now these moments we make, the moments we meet. And our hearts, once all together beaten, now all together beat. Come, look up with kindness yet, for even solace can be sourced from sorrow. We remember not just for the sake of yesterday, but to take on tomorrow. We heed this old spirit in a new day's lyric in our hearts. We hear it for old Langstein, my dear, for old Langstein. Be bold, saying time this year. Be bold, saying time, for when you honor yesterday, tomorrow ye will find. Know what we fought need not be forgot, nor for none. It defines us, binds us as one. Come over, join this day just begun. For wherever we come together, we will forever overcome.
So just as last year brought its losses, it also brought new life. And we symbolize this new life with a cradle. We made a little cradle for us. It's a symbol. Babies were born in 2021, some pretty good ones, I hear. And artists have created new works, composers and writers have created new works of art. There have been new scientific breakthroughs. A lot has come into being this year that has been good. But birth is hard. as those who have participated in such an event can attest. But there's also profound joy and profound changes that come with the process. So let us now turn our attention to the cradle, the symbol of birth. Let the cradle be present to us, and let us be present to whatever we would give birth to this year, especially in ourselves, to start the process of manifesting our hopes, to begin to realize the potential with which you were born, a chance to move toward growth, to let your energies run like a stream, to find where the channels of your life are leading, to strengthen the spirit that urges you forward, to fill yourself with courage for whatever will require courage in you, to seek the new light of a new day, to stretch into tomorrow, to invite something new to begin in you. And remember that the process of giving birth is a painful process, but the long-term fruit is a lighter, healthier way of being in the world. We begin this process of birthing in silence. We will take a moment to reflect on what you would give birth to, remembering that this is a chance to welcome the future. Write down a few words or a sentence that describe it. Now, if you like, I invite you to, if you choose to, write down what you are hopeful for, what you hope to give birth to in the new year in the chat, or if you're watching on YouTube, in the comments. So going within more. Yeah, I can see that. Dave and Dottie write, to cultivate joy and creativity. Nice. Carl Serble says, loving and caring for friends, neighbors, and family. Corinne says, making more personal contact with friends. Claire Winnikin says, embracing the unknown and showering all with love and connection. Trina Prezi says, forgiveness and new relationships with myself and others. Dottie and Dave like all the above. Corinne says, daily envisioning the healing of our world. Well, you can keep writing. One more, yes, good. Valuing any small increment toward healing in self, family, and community with love and patience, from Yvonne and Ron Kirkpatrick. Deborah Height says, cultivating gentleness. Amen. Whatever it is that you are letting go of, and whatever it is you are giving birth to, we are grateful for you sharing yourselves in this beloved community. Before we close, you can check out the chat from people writing more things. But before we close, I'd like to make a special invitation to people to please do join us at the Zoom coffee hour. You should have the link in your in the Eliot at Zoom, Eliot This Week on Zoom. We are hoping to reinvigorate it, especially now when we are we're virtual through the new variant and the surge, but also going into the future. It's a lovely way to connect with people. So now may the love which overcomes all differences, which heals all wounds, which puts to flight all fears, which reconciles all who are separated, be in us and among us now and always. Amen. And for those of you on Zoom, I invite you to unmute yourself, if you would, and join me in singing Old Langstein. It will be raggedy and funny, and that's okay. I was looking around for a good sing-along video, and I found this one. I hope you like it. All the ways
times be forgot and never brought all acquaintance be forgotten.
Old
Langstein,
my dear, old Langstein, the cup of kindness for old Langstein. All acquaintance be forgotten and brought to mind.
acquaintance be forgotten and old Langstein, my dear of kindness yet for old Langstein.
Happy New Year, Brown.
Old Langstein.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year!
To you
Happy
all.
New Year,
everyone.
Way to go.